everyone. Welcome to the Talkoffame podcast. And today is such an exciting episode because we have Ganna Sorbat joining us for today's episode. Ganna is a classically trained dramatic soprano singer, accomplished pianist, songwriter, music producer, and film composer. She's originally from Ukraine, where education is highly valued and encouraged. Ganna is well versed in her knowledge of music theory and music history. Her talents and skills also include arranging music, teaching music, and orchestrating music productions and events. Needless to say, Ghana is a recognized and much sought after award-winning composer. Thank you so much, Ghana, for joining us today. I really appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to come on.
Thank you, Kylie. Nice to meet everyone. Hello. Thank you
So,
so
like,
much
of
for
course,
inviting me.
you grew up loving music, and also your parents were very musical, right? Like, you kind of grew up in a musical household, right?
Yes, my parents, my mother used to play piano, and while I was still in her belly, that's how I discovered Beethoven and the music from movie themes. That's what she loves to play, as well as Ukrainian traditional songs. And then I grew up surrounded by music. My parents used to listen vinyl CDs, and with classical music, with rock music. It was wonderful to listen in the house. And that's how I became a musician. My brother plays guitar as well, so we have this surrounding wonderful environment. We grew up together and learned from parents as well.
Ooh, I love that you grew up in a musical family. Like I know a bunch of people that play music, and I feel like everyone I know that plays music always comes from a family of musicians in some way, whether it's pianists or whatever. But like, what was kind of life like for you growing up with like kind of like a family of musicians per se?
So my parents didn't pursue it as a career. They have different career goals, but it was more like a hobby for them. So my mother, as I said, she used to play piano, classical piano. And my dad has a wonderful voice, but he never pursued a career. We used to have at home guests all the time because my father was a professor at university, so he will invite his students, he will invite friends of family, and they always would ask or they would love to hear us to perform for them. And we have this beautiful baby grand piano back in Ukraine in our home house. um, so yeah, we used to perform like almost every other day for our entertain our guests, or every other weekend, after like dinner and beautiful performance. So um, everybody loves to sing, like almost feel like karaoke.
Oh my gosh, that
Yeah.
seems so awesome. Like to have
Yes.
a household
I-
and you
yeah.
say as a professor, so of course I'm sure there's a lot of people that came in, but like to play music that often, I could not imagine doing it so much.
Yeah, well, I practice a lot, especially when I was studying at school. My grandmother actually enrolled me into professional school for musicians, for dancers, all sorts of arts. Um, and that's how I learned to play piano. I learned theory and solfeggio and other like music history. So basically, it was knowledge uh, mainly of classical like composers, musicians. And I do have a singer in the house, actually. It's my cat.
Oh my
She's
God, what a great time then. Like
yeah.
what a great time. But in
Yes.
2013, you co-created a new arrangement of the UAE national anthem, which was well received and widely broadcasted throughout the Gulf countries. How was this kind of different for you than your other music that you created?
It was interesting and fun project, actually. The team, I used to work in Emirates at the professional recording studio. They offered me this project as to collaborate with them and to write some arrangement, to write some piano with choir. So I invited singers because I used to sing in a choir in Emirates. And we've done tons of performances together. So I invited that choir and we recorded at the studio I worked, Pure Sound music studio. Yeah, it was very exciting project done. It was broadcasted all over the Gulf countries, so we were celebrating all
Oh, I
together.
could imagine to be listened to in different countries. I'm like, gosh, like everyone knows who I am now because of this. Like, this is it's something you probably didn't imagine happening, right?
Yeah, it was totally, surprising moment, and I'm so blessed to participate in projects like that. By the way, recently I created a new arrangement of the national anthem of Ukraine, which is also a
Really?
very exciting project for me and my colleague. He's a wonderful composer and arranger. His name is Ruven Herman. And yeah, we recently released the Ukrainian anthem for the National Day of Ukraine. So that was,
Ooh, that's awesome. I definitely have to
yeah,
check it out now, guys. Oh my gosh. I
yeah,
wish I would have known. I'll be like, oh my gosh, I probably updated that question, but it's all good. It's at least.
yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
But of course, you travel all over the world to do different gigs. You've been to US, UK, you've been to all over the place. But how do you kind of manage to go all over the country, different countries in Europe and also the US as well?
So I used to work through agencies. I had a contract, like for a year contract. Then I switched to another agency who represented me and booked my shows, as well as I worked at the National Symphony Orchestra in Emirates. So it was amazing opportunity whenever we have a concert in the other country, like in Europe. So that was how they booked me, as well as different bands I worked together. So they will have a show, like one of my opera singer friends, one of my friends, she had this show in Monaco, so she called me out of the blue, as they say, and she asked, Ghana, would you like to perform with me on piano? And I'm gonna sing a few opera arias. And I flew into Moscow back in 2013 to rehearse with them, with the band, with her, and then we flew together to Monaco, or actually it was south of France. Beautiful, gorgeous place, and they had a huge show, opening for Denis Matsuev, who is world-class pianist.
Ooh, I'm
Yeah.
jealous. That seems so fun. Like to go out of the country, do something like that. Like
Yeah.
that's really probably everything to do. Like do something outside your home country to travel like all the time for these things. I'm just like, gosh, you're living my dream every single day.
Not only that, it was wonderful experience I would like to share with all the listeners. That when you get opportunities like that, it's so exciting, and at first you feel like it's risky. You don't know like what is awaits for you there. And but then I took my chances and I decided I'm gonna discover the contract that I got to work in Emirates. I kind of didn't know like what's gonna happen there, right? I know that I'm professional, what I do, I love what I do as musician, as a performer, but then how do I know like if the people will accept it, if I'm in the right place, if I would like it, so it's always kind of doubts, right? We have
Mhm.
doubt of trying something new, but I tried it. I love it. And the opportunities like performing with the Rolling Stones happen.
Oh
The
my
opportunity like performing with George Fenton and the orchestra. So I would say one of my best days of my life, it was the show with Stones,
God.
which I would never forget, in front of 60,000 people stadium. Like, guys, if you have opportunity like that, just follow, follow that opportunity.
I
Just
know, that is so
I
true. Like, one time I was reading they perform with the Rolling Stones, I'm like, oh my God, no way. I don't know why, but I'm obsessed with oldies, like 50s to
yeah,
90s music. So
uh-huh.
once I love the Rolling Stones as well. So I'm just like, oh my God, what I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. Like, what was it? Did you just perform with them once or did you perform with them
Yeah.
multiple times before?
Oh, I'd love to perform with them all the time, but I had just one show as a backup singers, and we had like 4 rehearsals before that, and on stage with them, and they're so down to earth, like the band, they're so legendary.
Mhm.
Yeah, I felt like it's a blast to perform with such a great artists who feel on stage they are so much confident, and their presence, you feel inspired by musicians like that. You feel like
Mhm.
I felt like I want to grow to that level. I want to manifest my own shows like that at that scale
Mhm.
someday soon.
Yeah, someday
Yes.
that would happen. But I know I'm like as time goes on, I'm like so like thinking to myself, like how are they so popular even in 2024? Because they've been around for decades and been popular for decades. I'm just like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, like sometimes I just think to myself, like, how are bands like the Rolling Stones or the Beatles still as popular as they were when I started out in like the 70s or 80s, you know? Like it's just like when people talk about them, they still get so excited to hear about them. I'm just like, oh my gosh. Like I feel like now music is still
Mhm.
as popular, which is like it feels like that fandom will never die down.
Yes, exactly. As you said, Kylie, it stands the test of time. The music like Stones and even the classical music that I study and perform, um, it has great ideas in their songs, and like their own way of singing. So yeah, it's awesome to be a part of something great like that.
100%. Like, do you have a favorite Rolling Stones song? I have to ask now. Like, do you have a favorite one?
Yes, you can't get always what you want.
Oh,
That's
that's a good one. Like right now, my personal favorite is I Can't Get No Satisfaction. That's honestly my
uh,
favorite one right now. Like I don't know
uh-huh.
why, but it's been on repeat recently. So it's
Yeah.
like that probably has to get one, but the one that you said is honestly pretty amazing too. One of my personal favorites.
Yeah, you can't get what you want.
I know.
Okay.
But what would you kind of consider the most challenging aspect of composing music?
Uh, of composing, I would say that uh, technology is always advancing. So um, I feel like I always have to train myself more and more to learn in Logic. That's what I use now to write my music, my songs, as well as setting up equipment. And it takes me a while to figure out how to make the sound right, the sound that I'm looking for and striving, because it's very important for us as creators. As composers, as artists, to deliver the message, so people will hear the idea clearly and beautiful, and like the sound that I'm striving for. I'm always looking for in technologies and what I'm using, the software and my studio setup. I'm always looking for to make it as perfect as possible,
Mhm.
like striving for perfection. But it takes me a while, honestly, to set up it correctly, and it takes me a while to study, to make my research. It's a lot of YouTube YouTube tutorials on those subjects, and it's always evolving, always. Yeah.
Like as a composer or even a musician, like I feel like everyone wants to make things perfect. I know for me, I love things perfect. So I'm just like, oh my gosh, like if I don't get it perfect, then I'm not posting it. So it's like, I don't know, I'm sure it's for you as well, but when as a composer or musician, that you want to release things that you want like, but also people would like and listen to all the time. So I feel like there's some sort of like not stigma, but you just want things to be the best that there ever is, probably.
I feel like I have a message to share, you know, a message to
Mm.
say to this world, to people, and it's like within me, whatever I'm writing. Am I writing music score for a movie, or am I writing a short piece of piano, piano melody, or some arrangement or a song, in any shape or form, I wanted to deliver that message that I wanted to share. The message is to stay more positive, to have goals, to move forward to your dreams. It's about love, about being who you are, being stick to your values. So I'm trying to share my soul in my music. So with the tools that I learned throughout the years, with music theory, with composition, with listening tons of other composers' works, it helps to deliver that message um, through the music that I write and sing.
Yeah, I love it. So to wrap this episode up, like how can people contact you if they want to connect with you?
I have social media, which is you can find me on Instagram and Facebook, Twitter. My name is Ganna Sorbat. It's together, two words, first and last name, and that's my artist name. I produce albums. You can find them on Spotify, Pandora, YouTube, iTunes, and my website is gannasorbat.com. You can reach out to me anytime. I'm always checking my DMs and emails. So it would be wonderful to connect with you. And thank you so much for your attention. And thank you so much for allowing me to share my journey. It's still going on, a lot of things going on. So I'm glad I was able to share a part of it. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
thank you so much for coming on. I loved having you on. I know there's still a bunch of things we have to cover, so we have to do maybe a part two at some point. But thank you everyone for listening. I hope everyone enjoyed this episode. Make sure to review, subscribe, like whatever things are on your platform. I know every platform is different. But thank you so much, Ghana, for joining us today. I loved having you on and really appreciate you coming on to get time.
Thank you. Thank you very
Of course.
much.